Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scouser's Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Monday morning where Grumpy is here because Grumpy and I are the working man who have to put in the shift all the time, whereas Prince is doing the more afternoon shift with me where we do the live watch along because you can't have the Prince work two shifts on the same day. Actually, the moment he cleared the morning, Michelle filled it for him. And then I was like, hey, do you want to do a quick one in the morning? And then he was already scheduled to do other things by the queen herself. So he's not with us this morning, but I figured I would hop on. Kind of talk about a couple of the headlines that we got going and let everybody know that we will be here for the watch along later today. We'll probably go live probably like 5 to 10 minutes before the game. The lineups will be out and everything like that, and then we'll jump. And we might have a couple more contributors joining us for that live watch along as well. So do tune in then. How are we doing? It's a Monday morning. It's a Monday game. The one before the one. Ultimately is what it boils down to. Brighton away. I think Brentford's score yesterday kind of makes this game a bit less stressful probably for Brighton, I would think. Not to mention the Palace win on the FA Cup made it really, really difficult. I don't even know if they have a shot, actually. Let's take a look real quick. I know before the Brentford game, it was more improbable for them to be able to jump on there. And, that's why we talked about last week that this game is actually means something for Brighton as opposed to us. But yeah, they are. I think they do have to be seven. So it looks like that thing is gone and over with. Looks like so because I think the seventh spot is the one that's going to end up going to the Conference League. Manchester City would be going to Europa right now as things stand. So, but they do have a game in hand, obviously, and that's really, really tight. Three teams at 6 points. Arsenal with the win basically guaranteed their second spot. I'm sure they are relieved. They celebrated like champions. So they are seconds behind Liverpool. The gap is down to 12 points. Are we worried or what? So hopefully we'll make that 15 later today, but I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a weird game. I hope the boys are up for it because obviously anytime we sit down and watch, we do want to win and get the 3 points and all that kind of stuff. But a few things to watch for as well as we look. Surzy is here, Alan gathering around. Good morning, gentlemen. Yeah, this time last year, yes, it is the anniversary, I think, of Klopp leaving. Gally was mentioning it earlier. This time last year, we were depressed about Klopp leaving. Year later, we got a title. 2 weeks ago, mind you, and two new fullbacks. So let's talk about that because obviously that was something I woke up to this morning and pretty happy about it overall. I don't know where you guys are at with this, but Milos Kerkez deal, which is like really weird because we talked about this before where when we're rumored with a guy for this long and his name is thrown around like 85 times, usually doesn't happen. But this might be an exception along with Frimpong because Frimpong name was thrown around a lot even last summer, but that was mostly by fans because obviously he's a fast dude. So like, like everybody wants to have a guy like Frimpong. I mean, he's like an exciting player to watch, even when we watched him for like Bayer Leverkusen and stuff. So his name was thrown around there, but early, like I would say, for the last 2-3 weeks, his name was thrown around a lot more. I think for like like getting to like being signed and being, everybody's being monitored, but like Liverpool being really interested in having him like bring it on board. And that one is 95% done, pending a medical. It sounds like we got the here we go. But Kerkez deal has been talked about, geez, like since like January or so, probably, right? So like for that to happen now, and looking likely to happen as of now, is really interesting. I think the most interesting part about signing these two fullbacks is it's definitely not the type of fullbacks we thought would be gone after. It probably like this kind of fullbacks as fans that we want to go after because they're like the more exciting fullbacks who are like attacking. They go bomb up and down that wing. They do the overlaps. They cut in. They both can put a good ball in the box. I mean, we've seen some of like beautiful assists from Kerkez. Kerkez on in Kerkez's part, He's like Premier League proven as well. And we've seen so much of Frimpong, but it does, I think, signal some major changes in terms of how we play moving forward. Because I think it's going to be, I mean, when you guys have those guys bombing up and down, I don't know, and they're almost like wingers. Either Frimpong is going to be playing a different role, but you don't sign and spend $35 million guy to sit behind Bradley, who also got an extension, which is really interesting as well. Ozan Kabak is in the house. What's going on, man? Good morning. Kerkez and Frimpong should sign real fast if they want to be on the bus tour next Monday. I don't think they're getting on the bus either way. Three signings. Who's the third? Don't even count Versa and get me all going over here. Unless it's kind of Bradley. I thought that was interesting. The Bradley signature coming the same time. It almost was like intentional, like when we signed this, finished this the Frimpong deal, we kind of like do the Mamardashvili. Yes. Yeah, that's another one. He did do farewell. Lee Go. Um, the Turkey rumors are like going. Is it Turkey? Sharky? Somebody tell me how to pronounce that one. But Abdurrahim is in the house. Not trolling yet. So good morning, sir. Going to get center back, defensive mids, and number 9. Number 9 sounds like a given, right? I mean, number 9 sounds like a given because you got to figure Nunes is gone. I hope Nunes is gone. Can we not see Nunes? So like really, like can we put like a wish list of not seeing Nunez, not seeing Trent. So for Trent, more for drama reasons. Nunez for blood pressure reasons. Not see him out there and just like go out there and play. But yeah, the Marmalades ordeal. That's another interesting one. I mean, he will have to be coming back and sit behind Ali. And we assume like Kerkez would be leaving. And I think it'll be one of those deals where they'll be like, hey, you got the FA Cup, you got the League Cup kind of a deal, and maybe the oddball Champions League game. If we have like, honestly, like this year's fixture was like a lot trickier, I thought. You didn't have any like on paper easy games as much where you would be like, oh yeah, go ahead and like sign them out there. No way. Let's not. I hope not. I mean, you might be right, Abdurrahim. I just hope not. Or we have. I don't think you're seeing Keller. Why would you put Keller out there, get him injured or something like that at this point, and risk his off season? So I think that would not be a smart move to do at all. Bradley, I think, yeah. I mean, basically you're saying just bench. I just don't see that at all. I just do not see that. I don't think the guys who are regulars would want that as much. We need to rest their arms. I guess that's true. That's true. And then a lot of walking around the pitch is going to be done with that. Villa interested in Keller for 30. Yeah, because I guess Martinez is leaving, right? Honestly, seeing yesterday some of the goals yesterday, you would think West Ham would be interested in a player like Keller. There are teams, I mean, there are 3 teams coming up, obviously, who might be interested in getting a Premier League proven goalie to play in goal for them. Is it not? Come on, man, help a guy out. Is it? I thought it was like, is it Sharky? I thought it was, but maybe it's Sharky. Yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm not, my French is beyond rusty. Ping pong, and if we keep Gomez, no, I don't think so. No, you don't sign Bradley to the contract and stuff just to loan him out. I think like he's almost like, if that makes sense, too old to be loaned out, if that makes sense. So I don't think he goes anywhere. It's going to be interesting to see what Frimpong's role would be because he didn't sign Frimpong, could be a backup too. I think it basically says, we did sign Frimpong and and I'm glad we did. I mean, we didn't sign him yet, so I should have probably jumped the gun, but we are looking to sign Frimpong. And I think that would almost signal to Bradley, hey, we're not planning for you long term, but then you do the extension for him. So I think that really helps Bradley's psyche in terms of, no, I am part of the long term plans, but for the time being, we're doing this, which I think was a good way to go about it because you don't want somebody, you need somebody to compete with Bradley. and you don't want to bring like a younger guy in than Bradley, who's already young, and like compete with that, and then try to. If it doesn't work out, now you have an even younger guy playing for Bradley, and you kind of threw your right back at risk. So I think one of the things that we're seeing is we are going didn't sign two guys and Van Dyke and Mo at their age, something this club does not do for 2-year extensions just to hang about. We're basically going all in, and we are spending the money and bringing. We're not rolling the dice on any position, which goes back to what Abdurrahim was asking. I do think we will bring another center back, and definitely a 9. The 6 is a big question because I don't know if he's planning on doing something different. You bring Wirtz in. I don't know if you almost think you can play. Now you have Mac Jones. We don't know what's going to happen with Bicetic. So there's a lot of question marks when it comes to the number 6 thing because we don't know how this midfield is going to go. More importantly, when you sign these guys who pretty much almost play as wing backs, Kerkez not as much, but still he bombs forward a lot. And so are you going to have a difference, more defensive midfield setup similar to Klopp days where they cover the areas vacated by whether it's Frimpong. I mean, it's not like Bradley's a defensive right back either. He pushes up a lot as well and like does the overlap and stuff. So do you get defend midfielders who can kind of like slide back and fill these gaps when these guys push up? Or are you going to do something where if Bradley pushes up, Kerkez drops, or like if Frimpong pushes up, Kerkez drops. When Kerkez pushes up, Frimpong drops and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that lineup. Hassan is in the house. What's happening? Now 75,000. Well, that's a good point. Actually, nobody's going to pay that. But I just don't think it's not an age where you kind of like do that and send them out on a loan. He's too old for that at this point. Like because he has value. Usually when you send a guy that's age out for a loan, it's the kind of mostly increase his price. Let's face it, he's not in your plans. You probably increase his value. I think Bradley's value is already set. You don't have to do that loan move with Bradley to get more value. Bradley is a known entity now in the Premier League. He plays for his national team. He's captain the national team and stuff. So that's why I think they do not do that with a player like Bradley. Solo is in the house. What's going on, man? Florian, man, do not tease me on this. Do not tease me on that. Because that would be the ideal icing on the cake if you get these two fullbacks and you get Wirtz, and then that will make it interesting because I don't know if that would change your plans on number 9 because I don't know what Wirtz would play. Because if he's playing for Szoboszlai, or do you now consider Szoboszlai to be dropping back a lot more? That interview with Szoboszlai, he didn't really sound too thrilled to be constantly running around and doing the defensive work for others, kind of a deal. But the good thing is when you win, I think it's a lot easier to sell those roles as opposed to not. Yeah, grab a cup, man. Grumpy is here. It's Monday, so Grumpy is in the house. I'm a coffee guy personally, but tea is done. It would be like an afternoon tea for you over there. What is it, like 3:15 or so? Early 5 o'clock tea, if you will. Look who is here. I'm amazed, Kevin. You are sober and awake. I thought you would be like in some kind of a celebration coma for at least a week after that FA Cup win. So congratulations to the Pals. Really, really interesting calls on that one. I mean, couldn't happen to a better team in City, let's face it. But when I watched that, I'm like, man, that's just not right. But it is what it is, and I was definitely happy. You watch the fans at the end of that game like in tears because they've been waiting for this in decades and stuff like that. It's just hard not to be happy for them and be like, man, good for you guys, kind of a thing. So congrats, man. I'm sure you're happy as hell. This is like a great year for you. Your adopted team winning the title and your pals winning the FA Cup. It's going to be one huge party next week. They can bring the FA Cup. We'll bring the Premier League Cup. We'll just they can drink champagne out of ours. We'll drink champagne out of theirs. It'll just be like a good old party next week at Anfield. That actually really makes that game more of just a party. I think they should be like Harlem Globetrotters, kind of a game where just like passing, doing tricks in midfield and stuff. But let's see. Oh, is Toto here too? Oh, did I miss it? Abdullah knows solo. Right over it. Kevin, just bring the fake up to Anfield with God. Yes, I mean that would be something. Don't all drink tea in England. I know, but honestly, that's where I got hooked with. Not only I mean, the tea thing in Turkey is like literally obnoxious, and I did not realize how obnoxious it was because when you're in it, I don't think you notice these things, but when you go out, and then we came back there with my wife, and I mean everywhere, seriously, like anywhere you went to, they were like shoving a glass of tea in your face, and they were like, tea. I was like, holy cow, there's a lot of tea drinking going on. But then when I went to London for college, that's when I got introduced to more with the tea with milk concept, and then kind of like was really hooked on that for a while because we would constantly be drinking that stuff in classes and stuff like that. But then came over here back to being like a in the US being like a coffee snob kind of thing. Man City pull out of yeah, that's okay. Well that's good. I'm not gonna go there, but yeah, offer tea when it's over 100 south is yeah, because see, Joshua is in Turkey. So yeah, as an American, that's probably took you some time to get used to in Turkey over there. Like it's nonstop. Actually, there's a saying back in Turkey that we always say with my buddy and laugh about it because it makes zero sense. But they say tea in the heat actually takes away some of the like you don't get you don't sweat as much and stuff like that. I don't understand the science behind it, but I think it's just a way of Turkish people selling themselves more to drink more tea than anything else over there. So um Liverpool and Palace, and then yes, we have the Charity Shield as well, which by the way, early heads up over here that the plans are well on the way, where we're going to be doing our 24-hour podathon that we did last year, and we raised $5,000 during it. Thanks to all you guys. We really wanted to make it bigger this year, so going for 10,000 this year. That's kind of like our goal to start the whole shebang over here. But if you're new to the channel, basically what we did was. Thanks to my great idea during summer vacation, and then I introduced it. And kudos to Bickler and Galley for falling into the trap. So it was me, Galley, and Bickler, and we were on live for 24 hours straight. Quite torturous, more torturous than we anticipated, but very rewarding at the end because we did get the $5,000 all together with sponsors for the hours, donations made through the GoFundMe, as well as the silent auction we did for several items. That was some of them were from the Kerkez 23 Foundation. All the money was donated to the 23 Foundation and like used on like several different projects. So we are going to be doing that, and it's going to be on the day of Charity Shield. So that's going to be the live watch along during the day. Last year we did it in the last preseason game of the year. So this year we're going to be doing it on the day of Charity Shield. Details to be announced yet. We are hoping, working on, and see if we can work the logistics of doing it on site at Kerkez, because obviously the whole thing is for the Kerkez 23 Foundation. So stay tuned for that, but we are kind of working on that behind the scenes. It does seem like too early, but who knows? This time flies. So we're like less than 3 months away now. So we'll be doing that. Yes, Kerkez in New York. So we are kind of like seeing if we can work the logistics and stuff like that, because obviously there's a lot of like legal stuff that goes into it. There's a lot of um, I mean, health and safety, I guess. Do you want to really lock us up in a pub for 24 hours, like overnight? With Bickler and Galley, I don't know how I would control those guys. So that by itself will be a challenge. But yeah, we're looking to see if we can do that. But either way, we will be doing the podathon this year and do it like 24 hours from that's to be determined. We did noon to noon last time. But some of us really struggled. At one point around 11, I remember Bickler saying, "Who am I?" or "Where am I?" or something like that. Yeah, no sleeping bags on pillows because we don't sleep. We're live 24 hours straight. That's what makes it tricky, but like I say, rewarding. Holy cow, dude! That's a lot of people. Right off the bat, I can remove. I'm assuming that Martinez is the goalie Martinez. I know which Martinez that is. You can remove Rafinha out of there, KDB out of there. Oh man, that's a lot of freaking names. Bruno, Guimaraes, I assume. Yeah, that's a lot of names. It would take us hours to go through, man. And not to mention, um, chai, lamb, or chicken. What's the chai shawarma? First of all, let's not do the shawarma thing. The doner thing that Joshua can tell you. I like how these Monday shows always turn out to be food. So it wasn't Matush. It was my fault all along. But yeah, it has to be lamb, right? If you're doing the original stuff right there. Anyway, getting back to the transfer stuff, it will be interesting to see what we do now. The words thing, I don't know, man. I think that's my more coping mechanism than anything else. Like Solo was saying, there's a lot of stuff coming out on it. I said it, I think, last Wednesday show when we were talking, that I still see that he goes to Bayern and all this is kind of negotiation scheme. And you're like, look, there's other people interested in me. Yeah, we'll talk to you, kind of a thing. Because from Wersa's camp, it almost looks like, yeah, we want to hear all everybody's pitches, kind of a deal. But you kind of like have one that you probably want to go to. So I do think he does end up going to Bayern still. But like I said, that could be just my coping mechanism of not want to deal with the disappointment, because that is a really, really, really exciting prospect, because I do love the player and I can see like how he would fit. But it would be interesting to see if he goes in the Soboslai role, or he just basically becomes a Bobby, and like plays like striker who constantly drops back and stuff like that with Mo. And I mean, whether it's Gakpo or Diaz being able to cut in a lot more, and you have like outside guys in Kerkez and Frimpong bombing. It's a little too attacking, little way too exciting, but we'll see how we work with that. I initially preferred the left back. Yeah, I see what you mean there. Um, I think Hato is a great backup plan to have if Kirkus thing gets out. I mean, out of control price wise or requirements, demands wise. But because there will be, look, I think we were talking about this on Friday with Kazi. Like every year, right? There's like one or two guys that are like, oh, he's the biggest, best left back ever, right back ever, and some of them you never hear from again. So some of them do make it. Like Cucurella was one of those guys, and he got the Chelsea deal and stuff like that. And you could argue how good he is defensively, but I think sometimes when you get a guy who is flashy to outside fans, I mean, none of us like we rarely look at a guy and be like, oh, I'm really impressed with that guy. He's the best defender right back I've ever seen. If we're watching it as a neutral, right? You turn on a Brighton game, Brentford game, and stuff like that. The back, like the right back, the full back, whether it's right or left, that gets your attention is the guy who's attacking, who's bombing forward, maybe tracking back as well, doing his defensive work. But usually, to the naked eye, to the casual fan, when you watch a fullback, you're more impressed with their offensive prowess and like the overlapping and all that kind of stuff. So every year you have a couple of guys like that you watch around the Premier League. You're like, oh, he'll be like Al Nuri and stuff. Like everybody was really hot on him for a while. Now you don't hear it as much because Kerkez is the name this year. So every year there's a guy like that. So if they did miss out on Kerkez and that deal does not happen, which, like I say, this morning's rumors, that's kind of like how we started the morning here, is like from Fabrizio. He understands that Liverpool have contacted Bournemouth. That's a huge ordeal. But it could be just as simple as, hey, would you guys take 25 or something like that too? So we'll see how that goes. I don't want to this is my coping mechanism with transfers, people. You got to kind of set the expectations a little low so that you don't get crazy over there. Good morning, man. Yes, right. Hey, I mean, thanks for joining the channel, hopping on, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. I mean, we got all kinds of uh, adopted Scousers here, Turkish, like myself. We got people all over the place. I know what Matu, you consider Matusha Polish Scouser. We'll ask him during the watch along if he considers himself a Polish Scouser or part of the American Scouser. So, but yeah, like I say, we will be here for the watch along. So do tune in for that. We should go on live. The game's 2 o'clock Central our time, so we'll probably be on like 10 till quarter till or something like that. talk a little bit about the, yeah, he's the Polish prince. I mean, that's, yeah, he just goes around as the Polish prince. Okay, so that's where we are with the transfers right now. No other like major updates. I find it, look, especially this crew, like Edwards. I mean, we don't know about Hughes as much, but we know with Edwards, that's what's shocking about this offseason. I think usually when something happens, it's just like, boom, we just signed this guy. And there's not a lot of rumors that go on and on and on and on, right? Whereas this year, like I say, in both cases, if we sign these guys, they've been a lot more like cunning. It's almost like been too obvious, or like worst kept secrets. I find that odd. But on the flip side of things, the fact that there is no a mess where is that guy who will end up playing striker as well. There are no solid rumors for a number 9 or for like an any kind of striker or a winger even, unless you count Frimpong coming in as a winger. But nobody there that has come out in terms of the names being thrown around, because everybody looks around and top strikers in Europe who might be available or who might be affordable, and obviously their names are going to be thrown around with us and Arsenal and Chelsea and stuff like that. But I think when you look at like the rumors, validated rumors, reliable people, I have not seen anything about any of those guys that's like, Liverpool have like a solid interest. So it will be, that might be more of like an Edwards move there, that we bring in somebody out of nowhere that was not rumored at all, and boom, they're here kind of thing. So will Arne Slot have the last say in the transfer? I don't think it's the last say. I think it's more about working together. I think people kind of like take it more as like paperwork that's going from desk to desk kind of thing. If you agree, sign on the bottom or something. I think it's just kind of like a collective effort. I'm sure like players specifics are being discussed, but I don't know. It's like you and me talking. Like, if I say what kind of right back you want, and they make these presentations. That's interview with Ian Graham, I thought was like very, very interesting in terms of how they presented Mo and stuff like that. Because we knew at the time club really wanted brands, and so like the comparisons and stuff. So I'm assuming like there's a lot of like solid communication going on throughout the year and stuff, saying, for example, man, it would be great to have an overlapping uh, back, or a back who can kind of like, that's like kind of like the new age fullback, I think, in modern game, where like bombing up and down the wing, basically, speeds and be able to be good on the ball and assist and stuff like that. Yeah, the Edward of yesterday is not the one of today. Yes, I do agree, but I think in they have kind of like laid the groundwork. Last summer, I think this was the plan for last summer. Like they were like, hey, we're gonna do this, and then next summer we're gonna do this kind of a deal. I mean, and that's what I mean. Like when in terms of like the players we go after, Kerkez might not have been the guy they talked about last summer. I mean, Hughes could have been. I signed this left back over there. It's going to be something or whatever. But in terms of the profile of players they want, the type of players they want, the characteristics they want out of the player on the left back, I think that's what's basically happening. It's going to be talked in between like these three, where like I tell you what I really want as slots, and the qualities I want in the players you go scouting, and then they basically say, hey, there's this guy, there's this guy, and then they kind of like present and see if you're kind of like sold on the thing overall. I know it's not the same club situation in terms of being sold, but I don't think they're just buying a guy, and which could have possibly happened with Chiesa. And if it did, that would be a bad experiment to do that again. Where if it's not a guy that Slot is like, yes, that works, we can use him, I don't know why you would go and spend the money. I think with Chiesa's situation, which will be interesting to see if he makes the squad today, but you're not going to lose money. It was kind of like a no risk thing. You can probably send him back to any team in Italy and get more than what you initially paid. But why waste a squad spot and a potential guy who might play in a guy that Slot is like, I don't know, I'm not feeling that kind of a deal. Frimpong's defensive side, who knows? I think, like I say, I just feel like one thing Frimpong has is speed, and sometimes speed can make up for a a lot of defensive errors and poor positioning that you might take. Just ask Gomez. I think he has made Gomez has had a successful career because he has the pace and the agility to get back into the situation. Whereas you notice, I mean, once Trent is passed, part of it has been, and this I've been saying this for years. Of course, I was getting hammered then. Now everybody's like, "Yo, I know," but he does not track back full speed to get back into the play. Like once he's get past, he's gone. Like you're lucky to see him still on your TV because he's jogging back, whereas everybody else is now going towards Liverpool goal. I think one thing you get with Frimpong is even if he takes a bad like step or something like that, he can kind of track back full speed and be able to get back in and defend again, or at least run back into the box. That's kind of like my biggest thing with like Trent and stuff. You can get beat. You are going to get beat. They're like, you're playing against top left wingers, so you are going to get beat in a 1v1. Nobody's Van Dyke, nobody runs past him or anything like that. But once you get beat, usually your center back is coming out to kind of like cover that area. If I'm a center back, right, I'm kind of like sliding over now because you got passed. So now I got to take that, which means I'm leaving a gap behind me. And that's when the right back who got beat should be sprinting over there to close that up. You do not get that with Trent. You never got it with Trent. And I think you will get that with Frimpong. And with his pace, he will be there. So if the center back is going against the left wing now, the left wing has the advantage there with speed and everything automatically. But even if he like tries to cross, you're taking away crossing the ball. So it's a lot easier for the center back to escort the guy to the corner flag now because the middle is done. So not to get beat on a far post. Yeah, I mean that's awareness, right? I mean, if you ever wondered when you play computer games, what the hell do they mean by offensive awareness and defensive awareness? You can look at Trent and you can be like, defensive awareness is low. It's you gotta be able to know where everybody else is. You gotta anticipate certain things and stuff like that. And he has been better. He was better. Let's fix this. He was better earlier in the season, and then it was all about the talk he had with Slot. Slot said turn 3 degrees this way or whatever it was. But I think it's it's a lot of will. Like a defensive work rate is a will, and you want to have to do it, and I don't think he does. And that's basically the biggest problem over there. So, but we're done with that one. We're gonna big frame pong, but to answer Abdul Rahim's question, who knows? Who knows if he's going to play right back? I mean, it's going to be interesting. He might be the right wing back, and we don't know what's going to happen now, which makes this preseason now very interesting. But one at a time, slowly we will get there. Jimbo is here. What's going on, Jimbo? But yeah, slowly but surely we'll get there. If we can get Frimpong thing, let's get these things official first. And I don't think they can be official till the season is over, right? Because they're in the Premier. Well, at least for Kerkez, he's in the Premier League. I think we can make Frimpong official, but let's do that, and then let's move to what's going to happen with worse and stuff like that. So try to make some sense of what we might expect. But I do think we're going to see a team that plays very differently next year. And if these two guys come along, that signals that bias up. We were talking about this last Monday podcast, and I asked the boys about Frimpong coming over, signaling a tactical change. And then I had mentioned, especially if Kerkez happens too, well, now the Kerkez talks are there. So I'm sure we'll talk about it on tonight's pod as well. But there has to be some major tactical changes coming to get the most out of these guys. And one thing we learned from Slot is he basically plays to the player's strength, and he can kind of adjust his system to play strength. What he did with Trent, for example, and what he did with Szoboszlai and stuff like that. So I am pretty excited to see what he can do with these guys, knowing these guys are guys that he wanted over there. Kevin says Slaya's got so many cards up his sleeve. Yes, I think so. I think with Hughes in the works, there's going to be a couple of guys that are going to be, what's a good word for him? Probably not as exciting to the regular fan and stuff like that, because you're gonna be like, who? But it's gonna be like a $12 million dude out of the Dutch league or something like that. And that could be in these positions that we talk about for midfield and stuff. If what we want or what they want is not available or is like way like too overpriced, they might go for. But this could be that guy in a couple of seasons and bring again a guy like that. Or I know Kazi really wants Wharton. I know. I mean, watching him this weekend, like I say, when I watched the FA Cup, I kind of watched after the conversations we had on Friday. I watched Mitchell, which who I'll pass, and I watched Wharton more like the spotlight was on them as I was watching the game, and I do like some of his stuff. Because I watched it like like scouts are watching his game kind of a thing. So I was watching him really closely. I just don't know if that English tax on him is going to be worth it. The Premier League increase on him is going to be, if they're going to consider it worth it, or if they have a guy like Wharton who plays in Netherlands or Germany or something like that, that they can bring on for like 18 million, 20 million. I think that's the route they go, but we'll see. Engineer and exit to go in general, but Celeste said no. Oh, we're talking about Trent. Very possible. Very possible. Because I do know uh, with him, like initially it was like the defensive stuff and all that, but we didn't let. I think if that's like soured off Trent, first of all, fuck off. Second of all, I mean we didn't even give Nunez to all that kind of money to Saudi Arabia for God's sake. So that was the right thing to do. Because what if we lost the title or something like that? Because we took like 25 million for Trent. Trent would be the one clear off, riding off to the sunsets. But Slots, FSG, and Liverpool will be the one to be blamed then. So I thought it was a right decision to keep him. And if he took that rough, well, all on him. Not to the person who shared the same pattern. Yes, it's the most successful club in England. Damn it. Yes, we can say that over and over again now. That's why it's going to be an awesome summer. And I honestly, that gap is going to increase. That gap is going to increase more and more and more. I really do feel it. And, with the signings we're doing right now, I do feel the same way. Serge, are you in the US, by the way? Or am I like, since I threw the name out there, are you located somewhere? Lakers, dude, are you a Lakers fan too? Because we're gonna get along great. We just need a center on that team. But yes, thank you, sir. Welcome to the channel. Oh man, did you guys see that Alvarez goal yesterday? By the way, that's pretty ridiculous. The free kick he scored. Yes, I mean I will drive Nunez to Spain. I will rent a helicopter to fly his ass over there. If that's something like that happened, I don't know. I mean, I guess that it's not going to be it depends on how much cash, right? So, I mean, if they're going to be taking that much from him, depends on like how much. But if it is like I feel you are not going to get what you would get probably from the Saudis in terms of in-store credits at Atletico Madrid. I don't think that happens. But if they say 40, yeah, I see. That's like an interesting question, though. If they say 40, right? And then you got to give another 60 or something like that on top of that to bring Alvarez. Ultimately, you're bringing Alvarez for like 100. Is it late? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Oh man, you almost had me there. I thought you were a Lakers fan. You should be a Lakers fan if you're not. So if you follow the NBA, even if you don't, you should start following NBA so you can root for the Lakers. I am renting the helicopter, dude. We'll all chip in. We'll do a definitely different fundraiser for that. We'll do a separate fundraiser to fly Nunez to go get Alvarez on the way back to save some field. That would be a dream. I just don't know though. Like, is that a good deal? You guys think if we give 60 million, so ultimately 60 million, you swap, it is a good deal. I just sold it to myself as I was telling it to you guys. I buy it, I think, right? Like 50 to 60 to upgrade from Nunez to, but is it like the rumors were they were giving 60, 70 for um Nunez in January. If they're doing that, it would be, I mean, you're almost paying like 130 for Alvarez now, technically. I don't know, but here's the thing: like, will Saudis still give? how much money, how much oil do these guys have? I mean, how much money can you give to Nunez after watching Nunez is my thing. Like anybody who's watched Nunez, you would think would be like, I'll give you $50. I mean, they might give like 30, 40, the potential and stuff like that, but I don't see why his value would be 70. If you look around and we're talking about, guys like Alvarez, Isak and stuff at 100, 110. Is Nunez only like 20, 30% behind these guys? Not to our eye test. I don't think so. But I mean, hey, whatever floats their boat over there. 48. Dude, how expensive is a freaking helicopter? I wonder. I might have to back out. You know what? We'll just drive them, take the ferry or something, because that's going to be way too expensive. I'm not doing the 48-hour one, that's for sure. Yeah, you gotta, dude. You can't have the name of Lakers and not watch NBA. Just for that, you should be like, you can just say you own the team or something. But Jonathan David, I don't know about him. I don't know what happened with Napoli. Initially, what I heard him was like his demands were too high out of Napoli. Because I know he's like a free agent or whatever, so I'm assuming it was like salary demands and all that. But I don't know what happened there. Napoli are looking for Nunes. Really? I mean, let's do this. What's the holdup around here? I mean, yeah, I think that will happen. And if you get 60, 70, man, put the extra 30, 40 on that and go get Alvarez. Because I think you knock on the door and you pay 100, 110 for Alvarez. How much did Alvarez go to them last year for? Does anybody remember this? Because then I would have to Google. You know what? What the hell? Let's Google it. I don't know how much they like paid for him, so that would be I mean, I'm sure they didn't pay more than like 50, 60 for him when he went there from Manchester United. So I mean Manchester City. So let's see. Oh, this is making for some exciting TV. I'm sure me trying to find it, but there we go. 75. So you would have to do 110 or something like that to make that viable, right? Especially with what he has done. So Lakers in LA in 2000. Yeah, man. Dude, like Lakers can show up anywhere and ticket prices around here go up like fourfold. But yeah, that was definitely some team back there. Is that like a question or are you like, did you hear a rumor? Because no. I mean, if it's a question, the answer is no. If it's a rumor, where? I mean, they want to. Yeah, I don't. That I agree with Serge there. I just you would have to give. I mean, I'm assuming we're talking euros and dollars. But I'm thinking like 100, at least to be able to get him. But if it's 60, 70 for Nunez, why not give 30, 40 to get him? I mean, why not? I think it would be, yeah, euros. I'm sorry. Yeah, that would be. I mean, I would pay it, but it's not money. It's not my money. How old is Alvarez? Because that's another thing over here. 2000. So he's only 25. So he's right at the border. 24 years. I don't know if you guys saw that in that interview. Was the limits that FSG used to set for signing new players. Nobody over 24, kind of a deal. So he's only 25 years old. He will turn 26 in January over here. But it's still, I feel like this time nowadays that is kind of like prime. So I would be all over that. But yeah, I mean, and he does. I mean, I know we give a lot of stuff to Caicedo because Chelsea have not done anything and stuff like that. But man, don't start this Liam Delap thing. No, no, let's not. I, Here's the thing: he would be a backup. I wouldn't want Delap as starter because I don't think he's a Liverpool striker. I might be wrong. Maybe I will be proven wrong. I don't think he's a Liverpool striker. I think he's more of a, and I don't want to like insult his switch, but it's a smaller team striker. I hope that makes sense over there. But I don't think he's a good fit for it. I mean, if we sign Wirtz, though, the only thing Lakers obviously is that, like, if you do sign Wirtz for all that money, yeah, you're not going and doing another 100, 110 million to sign like another number 9 or whatever. If we're getting Wirtz, that's why I feel like we are thinking of making him the new Bobby, play in that kind of a role. Because I just don't see why you would or I mean, maybe we're just underestimating how much money we're going to spend. I just don't see them spending, like 35, 40, 45, I think, for your fullbacks, going signing a guy for 100 probably, right? I think that's what's being talked about for words. You bring him over, you're not going another 100. I know you have some players to sell, so you're going to get like 70 to 100 probably from those sales, whether it's Keller, whether it's Elliott. Because obviously, if you're getting worse and you're keeping Soboslai, it's a disservice to keep Elliott because he's never going to play. Yeah, I mean, I would love a new Bobby. I think that would be, and I think, I'm gonna run this by, like, I'm building this tactic in my head over here, but you have a worse kind of guy who can kind of drop to a false nine. You have Mo and, like I say, Diaz or Gakpo be able to run behind them. They're both scorers. And then now you have two overlapping fullbacks who can kind of stretch with speeds. The play field a lot more wider. So that sounds pretty darn good, doesn't it? I'm sold. Now let's go get Wirtz, and then I'll be sold even more. But I think if you get Wirtz, you're not spending. You can kiss your Alvarez dreams goodbye, I think. But maybe Edwards and Hughes will prove me wrong, and maybe they were really serious about spending like 250 nets this summer. Because we're talking like basically 300 spent, and you would have to get about like 100 of that back with, and you probably would with Kelleher, Elliott. Who else do we have that, Chiesa maybe and stuff like that. So, but it'll be, yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer. It already started, and this is one of the first times where I'm kind of like excited about transfer season. Anybody who's followed the channel knows I am not usually a huge fan. But if you are not followed the channel, this is your opportunity right now. Hit the like, the subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. We do appreciate it. And if you do want to be a part of the channel, regardless of where you're at, don't let the American Scouser name fool you. Like I say, we are from all over the place. Most of us are here, but we had some like writers and contributors as well from the UK and stuff like that. So if you're interested in being a part of American Scouser, do send us a message. We are expanding and doing more content and stuff like that. So always want new other passionate fans to join us. But this was meant to be a short show. This is why Matush bailed, because he knows we can't do short shows, especially if he was here. So, but I do appreciate your guys' comments and contribution. Really, really goes a long way. And if you hit that thumbs up, really, really, really appreciate it, along with the subscribe. As we grow over here, it's like awesome to see new faces every show joining us. So, yes, actually, we are. I mean, honestly, I think like when you search anything in US, we have been the most consistent and probably like the largest and everything like that. But we do have the Alexi America group. That's it's a long story. If I go into that story, man, we'll be here for another, like, we'll be here until like kickoff. And I had to work and get some work done, hopefully, so I can show up for the watch along. But yeah, long story, but yeah, we have had that. But I should have actually throw this over there. I did it last week as well. We do have a group now where we did create a separate group for international followers, because we do have, I mean, obviously you see it over here, like, what do we have? New Zealand, Africa, Turkey, all over the place, which is awesome to see, by the way, because we're all Liverpool fans. Doesn't matter what the hell your address is, what the hell your passport is, all that kind of stuff. We're kind of like all rooting for. That's what makes rooting for a team cool, I think, because doesn't matter where we're at, doesn't matter who we are, we're kind of like rooting for the same thing. So we have like this weird bond that, people who are not fans of sports or teams, especially a team like Liverpool, just don't understand that. Oh, that group. No, that group is a shit show. That's the US fan group. Actually, sadly, that's the group that's associated with the club. LFC America is not associated with the club. That's our like Facebook group for like fans in the US. But we're a lot more stricter on who we let in that group, to be honest with you, because we've seen how the US fan group can turn. But yeah, I did put the invitation, the link to the group in the chat, if you're following us on Facebook or YouTube. He's back, actually. Funny you say that, dude, because he was gone forever, but it's the transfer season, so he's back. So heads up for that. But yes, do join the international one, please. And if you do want to be a moderator and take on some more duties on that one, we are looking for some moderators as well, because we anticipate that one to be getting a lot larger, because obviously it goes to the entire world. Speaking of the entire world should be back here in about 4 hours or so as we go live for the watch along with the Polish Prince. And breaking news, John will be on as well. So for those of us who rarely see John because he's a working man now, John will be joining us as well. So it'll be John, the Polish Prince, and myself in the live watch along. So that should be just a comedy by itself. Hopefully the pitch won't be a comedy and there'll be something to enjoy as we watch the game. But either way, we're just watching the freaking champions. So there's, and the most successful club in England, like Serge was saying earlier. But hey, thanks a lot for, as always. Do tune in 4 hours. Until then, have your coffee, have your tea, probably have lunch, and I'll see you guys at the game. I will probably be live 5 to 10 minutes before kickoff. So do tune in then. Thanks a lot as always. Take care.